cloud. Good evening. It is Tuesday, July 6th, 2021. This is Glenda Carlin, and we're having our Tuesday night A Course of Miracles meeting. And welcome, everyone. And anyone that can attend, of course, it's recorded and I put it on YouTube, and that'll always be in the email. So welcome. Let's see what my view, gallery view. Here we are. Here we are. Now, before I forget, Julia's got the Dalai Lama's photo as her picture because today is his 86th birthday. So we wish him a happy birthday and many more years leading the Tibetan and Buddhist community. And I welcome in Son of God Troy. Hi there, Troy. Hi. Son of God Dee, Son of God Sally, Son of God Lynn, Son of God Tina, Son of God Julia, Son of God Debbie. Oh, look, there's Teresa. Son of God, Teresa. Welcome, Son of God, Glenda. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Yay. It's such a delight to be with you all. I really look forward to this. Now, tonight, Debbie and Lynn said they did get my email, and I sent it late today. Did anyone else not get an email about tonight? Because here, oh, look, here comes Brian in. So, you all can always email me or text and let me know if you're missing something. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Wanda. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so first thing, let's get comfortable and well, first I want to call in Holy Spirit. He's always here. He's always here. They're all always around us, but we call them in. They can't intrude on us. They can't intrude. Welcome in, call in Holy Spirit, Jesus, Buddha, enlightened beings, ascended masters, all monks, gurus, our friends, and help us. We want all the help we can get, and help everyone. They're here to help everyone along the path, touch their hearts so we can have empathy and compassion for each other, be softer with each other, take care of our planet in the illusion for our potable water and our air and our food. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now we'll meditate just for a couple of minutes. If you would get comfortable in your seat. And a lot of it is the visualization, where what I like to do is imagine this huge sun above your head, and it's like a million suns. It's so brilliant. I have no idea how brilliant it really is. And there's rays that come off of it, and per Jesus, a great ray connects each of us to eternity. And that ray comes down and surrounds you, and picture sending it into the earth to ground you. And that ray is you. That light is you. And in that light really is everything, God's source and everything. Or you can picture a moon at your third eye, that light at your third eye if you want. The only purpose is that you are light. You are the light of the world. And it's subtle and not seen typically. But as you remove thoughts of separation from your brothers and yourself, your mind becomes purified of more and more and more thoughts. So there's clarity, there's more openness and purity in your mind, where you can actually see sparks of light, like lightning strikes of light, or bubbles of light, or shafts of light. So meantime, we just imagine that they're there, because they are. And like Peter told us that week, Big Bang was 14.5 billion years ago. So we have been imagining forms. We have been thinking up forms. That's what Jesus tells us, because the thoughts we think appear as images. We don't see them as nothing. Because we think them, we think we see them. That is the seeing that we've given ourselves. It's image making, he calls it, not vision, not holy vision. So we have been imagining forms for 14 billion years. So now I want you to imagine the light. That's what's so great about this. And that thing that I call it, fake it till you make it. So this light surrounds you and it's so beautiful and pristine, you want to join with it. But before you do, I want you to picture an altar and put on that altar the things you think you need to be happy. And then I want you to see that altar and your body disappear into the light. That's bringing darkness to the light. Then focus your attention on the light and relax. Relax into it. Rest is another verb, or dissolve into it. And it can be just for a second. And if your mind wanders, you just rein your mind in by focusing on the light again. You can even focus your eyes upward and just imagine that light that's behind those clouds. Take your hand and wipe the clouds away. Those are like feathers. That's all they are, just thoughts. Wipe them away, and there's light, your source, yourself, your true self. Just rest in that light for a minute or two. Okay, and then just bring your awareness back to this place. But you but always remember, this is what we want to do. They're called quickie moments during the day to remember to do this. You don't have to wait to go and meditate in the morning or at night, because we want to remember more and more and more that we are the light, and that light is where you live from then. And that light, you can be a channel and just let that light flow through you and radiate out. That's the objective. That's where you're going to end up being, because you are the light of the world. It's that light radiates all out through your form because it's like a hologram. You are light. This body is a faint image. You are immortal spirit, whole, pure, and innocent, always forgiven and released. So, and now before I forget, sometimes I forget, pick 3 people and practice true forgiveness on them on the screen. And that is saying you are spirit, whole, pure, and innocent, all is forgiven or released, or you say all of it to them. And then to yourself, you say, I am immortal spirit. This body is a false image and has nothing to do with what I am. Cool. Now, I mean, really, is that not simple or what? But the real problem is remember to do it. Yay, that's why we get together. We're remembering what to do. We reinforce this with each other. Now, let's see if I can find my notes here. So an update, and thank you so much for different ones of you that texted me or messaged me on Facebook or emailed me about Toby. And so last Wednesday, he was retaining water. He had a kidney issue and he also had a heart issue. So they couldn't give him a med in the illusion. So he went to his new reincarnation last Wednesday. And so when they were, euthanizing him, I went to the light. I went to the light. It was very difficult, but I went to the light and just held the light, while it didn't take long, 30 seconds to a minute. And then Lama Surya Das, when I told him, he did, evidently in the Buddhist faith, they do incantations to make the transition from this life to another life easier. They have actual incantations on it. But of course, I just talked before I told him, you ask Holy Spirit to help you. Remember, ask Holy Spirit to help you. Okay, next. So remember, I attended that 2-day virtual workshop, June 26th and 27th with Lama Surya Das's group, but it was Infinity Foundation in Chicago that they accredit pastors, ministers, yoga teachers. I don't know what all they do, but he did a 2-day workshop on the radiance, the light. And come to find out, I was looking at Gary Renard's meeting list. He's going, I think, live to the Infinity Foundation, but it's next year. I forget when. You can go to GaryRenard.com and get his list of places that he will be virtually this year and in person. And by the way, he had emailed me, and I'm coordinating a group here, a workshop, full day in-person workshop for him November 6th. And it's just $50 to attend. I'm not making any money off of it. It's just money for him. And the money, I take the money the day of the event in case there's a variant and then it has to be canceled, right? So we're all in the flow of this. Holy Spirit says it's okay, but now. Okay, so anyway, during this 2-day workshop, they record it just like I record, and they send you the link and you can look at it again. So I was re-looking at these meetings, virtual meetings. And so the phrase, don't you love that phrase, stay in the car? Some of you didn't get the email. Don't you love that? Stay in the car. Now Holy Spirit and I've talked about this, and that's going to be our mantra. Our group's mantra, stay in the car. So here's what happened. Because so much of what we're doing is to remember to go back to our mind, right? That's the crux of it. Remember to meditate a little bit, but remember to go back to the mind and remember what we are. So Lama Surya Das is explaining this is when he was a teenager. One of his friends' father was teaching her to drive, and he told the daughter, just stay in the car. And she goes, what? But what he meant was keep your mind in your car, keep your mind alert to what you're doing. Don't think about other things, because you got to be alert. You got to watch these other vehicles. And remember, this is like a lethal weapon. Like Lama Surya said, if you really realize that was a chainsaw or a circular saw that was powerful and could really hurt something, people would be more kind out there. I mean, it's a powerful, lethal weapon. But anyway, stay in the car. So what it helps me is to remind me, I say that and I giggle, but then I go, oh yeah, stay in my mind. Quit going out here on tangents. So here's what happened then. I put a note in my kitchen, big note says, stay in the car. And I'm using that as a practice. So to not let my mind wander, to catch my mind. It's sort of like that bell of mindfulness. If I hear a sound, bring my mind back. But what happened, I was watching this movie called Skater Girl. And what it is, it's a movie about a young girl. They don't say her age, but she's 14, 15, or 16. And in India, and she's in a lower caste. And they go to school, but at school, there's a boy that seems to smile at her and like her, but he's in a different caste. And his father's the teacher and will not let him mix because there's a big deal. You cannot mix castes. Plus, her little brother built a really rudimentary, rough skateboard. And they would be on the skateboard. The subplot is a lady came there from London who was looking for her father who was there and met up with the young girl. Oh, I forgot to say, and the young girl could not go to school because she had outgrown her uniform. They wouldn't let him go to school if they didn't have this uniform. And their people don't have very much money. Long story short, the woman got her a uniform, and I won't give you the whole plot, but as the movie is going along, I could see my mind expecting and wanting certain things to happen for that young girl. Was she going to get a uniform? How was she going to get back in school? That boy seemed to like her, but the father just said, get away, you're separate. The skateboard, the girl's father wouldn't let her do the skateboard because a girl shouldn't be doing that. So she'd hide a skateboard and do it on the side. So there were all these things that the mind could anticipate, expect, or go, well, that wasn't right. I would catch myself. I am not kidding. I would catch myself and say, stay in the car. And then I'd go back to my mind for a second, and I'd just look at that light for a second, and then I'd come back. When I did that a few times, what happens is I started to stay in my mind, and then I was watching the movie. I knew I was just watching, literally, it was a movie, but I was watching the movie. So then I could even more easily catch a thought when ego would say something else, right? And I go, stay in the car. And what happened then, this light, the only way I can describe it, seemed to get more solid in my mind because I'm just going back to my mind more often, all during this, hour and a half movie, etc. And and when this was going on, when I would go back to my mind and be there, I would say to myself, let things come and go. Let things be. See, I needed to just let this be. However that girl was it turned out that was how it was going to be. Let things come and go. In that movie, the different challenges and stuff. And then I found the quote, from Jesus that says, that's it's in the Manual for Teachers, paragraph 12.6, paragraph 6. And I would also say, besides, let things come and go, let things be, I'd go, I think it's maybe Sally would say, I'm dreamer of the dream. We each come up with some little sentences that help jar us back to our mind. And then here's this quote from Jesus. Awareness of dreaming is the real function of God's teachers. They watch the dream figures come and go. Because see, I got this let things come and go, let things be from Lama Surya Das, from his meditations and these workshops. But that's what Jesus is saying too. Just let these dream figures come and go. And then he says, shift and change. But boy, he adds it further, suffer and die. Yet they are not deceived by what they see. They recognize that to behold a dream figure as sick and separate is no more real than to regard it as healthy and beautiful. Unity alone is not a thing of dreams. So he says, watch the dream figures come and go, shift and change, suffer and die. Well, that's easier said than done, but that's our objective. So you make a little note and you just are writing these sentences. And I'm here, like you say, like I try to explain, to motivate you and let you know I'm just like you. I'm just a regular person that just practiced these statements that I had faith, Jesus and Holy Spirit knew what the hell they were talking about. And it's true, because as you practice true forgiveness on your brothers and yourself, turn your day over to Holy Spirit. He be the boss, guide you what to do and say, and meditate these. We want these quickie moments besides the 5-minute meditation or longer that you want to do, is you are purifying your mind of thoughts of separation from God. And then Holy Spirit can heal the unconscious guilt that you can't get to. Then this removes thoughts from your mind. So next, and then your mind is purer. So you can have more light up there in your mind. So I'm going to go through some things that went on in that workshop, because I realized you didn't have to be there, because I can explain this and you can experience the parts that are helpful to you. So what would happen during the retreat, they would break us into groups, and Lama Surya would ask a question. And one of the questions was, what is keeping you from it? What is keeping you from it? And the it is yourself, the light. What's keeping you from it? And you sit with that and find out what's the deal? What? And my answer to that was to remember to practice going to the light, because that's what I am and what all my brothers are and what God is. And and I said to him, because see, you can ask questions and have conversations like we do here. I said to him, and I was not sure how long I could be in the light. But he knows, because we meditate together, and he senses, he knows I can join with the light, even more so than I maybe recognize. And what he came up with saying is that I just have an idea that I'm not joined, because, and I sat with that later and realized you just have to be aware of the light, because the definition of heaven is merely the awareness of perfect oneness and the knowledge that there's nothing outside that oneness and nothing else within. So merely the awareness of perfect oneness. So me being aware of the light that's in my mind, and then that's now here, the clear light that's here now spread out over the universe, that's all, that's awareness of the light. So me being aware of it, that's the ticket. My ego was trying to get it to be something more than that, keeping me separate from that. Although when I meditate, sometimes I forget about awareness and you just be with the light. And I just, go into that extension of the light, blah, blah, but the bottom line is, if you're just aware of it for a moment in your mind, that spark of light, a lightning strike of light, a floater of light, or whatever, or ultimately that's what we're going for, is the awareness. And that light is the oneness, is all I'm trying to get at. Okay, that was that. And then let's see what. Okay, then later, he had each of us say just one word, and he called it popcorn. Each person just spoke a word out, like popcorn popping. And other people said words like radiance, cultivate, effervescence. I forget all the words. mine was recognition, why I picked recognition. And so he then talked with each person why they picked their word, etc., and had a truth talk about it. So I said why I picked recognition was that I realized that if I didn't recognize the light and my oneness with the light, then it didn't do me any good because I wasn't aware that I was one with the light. So I wanted to recognize that I was, right? And so this would happen to, I was trying to forget and think I forget the sequence, but there was a pause or there was a break and there was lunch and I was sitting out under the trees eating lunch. And what happens to me is my mind will pause. There'll be a pause of no thoughts. Like I explained to you, when you're brushing your teeth or doing dishes, when your mind's off of whatever you're doing, then Holy Spirit can talk to you. He'll inject a thought. You don't know it, but you're getting ideas and thoughts and being inspired. But the thought came to me was extension. And so when we went back to group, he asked me something else. And I realized what happens is, like I tell you, the light comes in from the great ray, it downloads and it goes out. It's an in-out vertical movement most of the time now. And the light that when it comes in, it streams like a stream, like a creek, a stream of water. You see the straight streamy. That's how the either golden light or white light, it's streaming. And then the light, it goes and it called extends out. And the only way I can explain that is it seems to extend going out horizontal, like if I played a gong and you listen to the gong sound, that sound seems to go out horizontally away from you, right? And you're just kind of following the sound, watching the sound, and maybe even you join with the sound. That's what this light does. This light naturally extends out of your mind, but you're just not aware of it yet. And it also radiates. It's another word. So anyway, so when I said that to the group about I had this pause. I don't know the significance of some of these things that happened to me, but he does. Lama Surya does. So he explained to the group what's important is to have this gap between thoughts, between activities, between ultimately life and death. So I'm just going to read some things here that he explained. And see, I listened to that virtual talk several times going back and forth so I could word process these notes. Because see, I wanted to sit with this and get all this at a deeper level. And so I'm wanting to share it with you as well. Lama Surya is saying that you can be called minding the gap is very important. And in mystic traditions, it's called a sacred pause or called a backward step. And Lama Surya says he calls it stepping off the treadmill. I'll picture the treadmill of we're just thinking thoughts. You're just thinking thoughts. He says where we stop and just drop into awareness, observing, just be aware. He says, stop and drop and be aware and be present and see what comes up. See, present moment is also the only real time there is, or eternal time is that holy now, that holy instant, the present, present moment. So just stop, drop, and be in a moment and see what comes up, what thoughts are there. Maybe there's thoughts you want to practice forgiveness, or I'm not sure. But he said, minding the gap is a great meditation teaching and instruction and comes from a word called bardos from Book of the Dead. and it's a book of liberating the conscious. All right, so when you mind the gap, there's different gaps. He says there's a gap between when you're falling asleep and dreaming. There's a gap there. There's a gap between death and rebirth. Gets pretty deep on this stuff, but I'm not going to. Gap between beginning a meditation and ending a meditation. He says all these bardos, they're called transitions or in between, a passage or transitory. But see, there's a gap between one thought and another, or a space. See a space? And can you slow, he calls it a popcorn mind or a machine gun mind or monkey mind, enough so you can have a gap between your thoughts, between sensations and your perceptions. So why I'm bringing this up and wanting us to say, just stay in the car, because that you saying that statement to yourself causes a gap, causes a stop, a pause. And then we just fake it. We just go in your, focus your attention inward to the light. And for a second or two, and think about the light. And then you go about your business. But that's making a gap. That's making a pause. Isn't that cool? I mean, and then also another, he says the bell of mindfulness is a way to create a gap as well. He said that Han, the monk that coined the word bell of mindfulness, he has a village, I forget where that is, but they ring a bell at certain, whenever, I don't know if it's certain increments or different amounts of time, everyone stops. The children, everyone, they go to their mind and go to the light. It's just a way of living there in that village. So we got a little village here. We got a group. We can stop. We can stop for moments and mind the gap, mind that pause there. Mindfulness bell's way to create a gap. Okay, so he says, so when that happens, when you stop, he says, smile, be aware, and just create a little space, a gap, just a little gap there. And be aware of your breath. You're just relaxing in that moment too, right? And he's the one that coined where I got the word quickies, these quickie moments of being in that, in the mind, joining with the mind. Okay, now there's 3 or 4 Jesus. Now we can have some questions. Look, Tina's got her hand up. Tina, yes, go unmute yourself, and I could even maybe try to unmute you. Ask to unmute. Unmute yourself, Tina, and ask your question, please. Or not. Tina, you still there?
Hey, sorry, I must have accidentally done that.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I'm
okay.
so sorry. I had
Well,
my
no.
phone in my bag and I'm just listening, Glenda.
Well, no-
Thank you.
Well, no worries, no worries. Does anyone else have a thought or something you want to share from the week? Before, I'm just going to quote 3 or 4 passages from A Course in Miracles here. So, okay, then I just keep going. Okay, so then here is, why did I print this? Let's see. Because picture when I'm watching, see you, I recommend that Skater Girl movie. That was on Amazon Prime. I'm not sure if Netflix has it, but take a thought about any movie or TV thing, something you start watching, or even maybe the news, is try to watch what you're thinking about, what you're wishing to be different, or what's going to happen next, or watching your thoughts, and then you can say to yourself, stay in the car, stay in the car. And you practice this because what the mind is, what that ego mind is doing, it is, here's where Jesus says, it's a perception, a continual process of accepting and rejecting, comma, organizing and reorganizing, comma, shifting and changing, period. But you can also put in here comparisons, good, bad, happy, sad, smart, dumb, comparisons. Evaluation is an essential part of perception because judgments are necessary in order to select. So that's that. And also being aware in your mind how things you want. See, I wanted the young girl to get a uniform. I wanted the young girl to somehow skateboard if she wanted to, and the woman to help them get a skateboard park and all, I wanted these things. And then I didn't unwanted or didn't want the father to act a certain way, just, resisting how the father was acting. That's how our life has been, how ego mind has ruled us is, and these aren't your thoughts. You are the observer, you're the watcher, you're the awareness, the decision maker, or you're the awareness, but it happens so fast. It's a knee-jerk reaction. In chapter 31, Jesus says that we make no decision by ourselves, but we don't realize it. We think we're out here making decisions by ourselves, but no, we're either deciding with an ego thought or a Holy Spirit thought. It happens so fast. It's a knee-jerk deal. But he says in the morning, first thing in the morning, if we say, there's 3 or 4 sentences in that chapter about, well, maybe I'll find that chapter, is to think about the kind of day you would want. How do you want to feel? Let me find that. Chapter 31. Rules for decision. I can find this. Oh, it's in the first part. Oh, I'm taking a minute. Here it is, rules for decision. It's chapter 30, not 31. The speed by which your goal is achieved is reached depends on this alone, your willingness to practice every step. Each one will help a little every time it's attempted, and together will these steps lead you from dreams of judgment to forgiving dreams and out of pain and fear. They are not new to you, but they are more than ideas, than rules of thought to you as yet. So he wants you to have these as rules of thought, rules by which you live. We seek to make them habits now, so you will have them ready for whatever need. Oh, he says, the outlook starts this way. Today, I will make no decision by myself. And then he goes on to say, well, you're not making any decision by yourself anyway. It's either you're making it with ego or Holy Spirit. Yeah. And he says, if you've not stepped, I'll make no decisions by myself today. This is the day that will be given me. Okay. Oh, wait, here we go. Throughout the day, at any time you think of it and have a quiet moment for reflection, tell yourself again, here it is, the kind of day you want, the feelings you would have, the things you want to happen to you. and the things you would experience and say. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. This is page 626. So this is in the beginning of the morning. You ask yourself, what kind of day do I want to have? What feelings do I want to have? What things do I want to happen to me? And what things do I want to experience? And he says, if I make no decisions by myself, I will have that kind of day. Well, of course, we're not going to be able to follow through with that. So he says here, then if you feel like, he says, quickly want to straighten out your mind. Because what's going to happen? We're going to do some thought that's going to provoke attack. We're not going to feel right. He says, then he says, you've decided by yourself and you need to ask another question. Now you need a quick restorative before you ask again. And you say to yourself, I forgot to decide to ask with Holy Spirit. And you say to yourself, at least I don't like how I feel now. So see, that's back to how we feel tells us who we decided with, ego or Holy Spirit. Now here's Sally. Okay, Sally, go for it.
Okay, you were talking about the rules for decision, and I just want to let everybody know that on YouTube, there's a video by Kate Greaves, and it's called How to Have a Happy Day Every Day. And there's a meditation, and it's all about, she does the whole rules for decision. She does that whole prayer that goes along with it, and a visualization of that goes along with it. And it's pretty fun to do, like in the morning, to start your day off.
Ooh, what's her name again, please?
Kate Greaves, Greeves.
Oh,
And
good.
she spells her name with a C, Cate.
You might check that, but that is great. Kate, Cate, Greaves, Greeves. See, that's how to have a happy day every day, huh?
Yes.
Way to go. Yes, that's what this is talking about. And remember, see, it comes down to when you realize you've decided with the wrong voice, it's how you feel. And you can say, and then you go on to say, I want another way to look at this. And then you go again, perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking? See, you guys are advanced. You're going to stop pretty quick and go, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Plus, I realize what we talk about when we have the feeling of upset, irritation, angry, sad, depressed, whatever. Stop and go back and think about, what was I thinking about before the feeling occurred, and journal that. Then practice true forgiveness on the person or the situation and yourself. Because last week somewhere was the paragraph where Jesus said, you have thought of a brother, not how God thinks of him. And you should think about, how does God think of my brother, your brother, and think of him that way, because we're judging him that he's separate from us, or, done something wrong. Now, of course, you can still have your conversations with people about issues, but it's how we do it factually versus getting entangled and torn up by the deal. And you're asking the Holy Spirit for guidance, what to do or say when you have those conversations. But I forgot how that's going to, when we're sorting, separating, and judging. Okay. Then that was chapter 3, section 5, paragraph 7. Then here's paragraph 8. What happens to perceptions if there are no judgments and nothing but perfect equality? Perception becomes impossible. Truth can only be known. All of it is equally true, and knowing any part of it is to know all of it. Only perception involves partial awareness. Knowledge transcends the laws governing perception, because partial knowledge is impossible. It is all one and has no separate parts. You who are really one with it need but know yourself, and your knowledge is complete. And by knowing yourself is this going within your mind to recognize the light, being aware of the light that you are. And then that final paragraph was in the manual for teachers where he says, we watch the dream figures come and go, shift and change, suffer and die. And awareness of dreaming is the real function of God's teacher, because that's where you're headed, is to be aware during the day that I'm making this up. These are my thoughts. Now, we're never putting the body in harm's way or a vehicle or anything, but we're dreaming this dream. We're mentally reviewing what's already gone by. So it is 7:47. So any thoughts here, you sweet people, anything you want to share that's going on? Dee, you're back. So, holy encounter, then I'm going to keep reading. So here's our holy encounter statement. Boy, I love this. When you meet anyone, remember, this is in chapter 8, section 3, paragraph 4. When you meet anyone, remember it's a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Never forget this, for in him, you will find yourself or lose yourself. This is so unbelievably well written, isn't it? Whenever two sons of God meet, they're given another chance at salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him and receiving it yourself. Wow. And he says here in paragraph 5, the goal of the curriculum, here's your goal, regardless of the teacher you choose, is know thyself. See, that's what you're wanting to remember. What am I? And what's my brother? Immortal spirit, love, light. That's know myself. There's nothing else to seek, he says. Everyone is looking for himself and for the power and glory he thinks he has lost. Whenever you are with anyone, you have another opportunity to find them. It's like your power and glory are in him because they are yours. The ego tries to find them in yourself alone because it does not know where to look. The Holy Spirit teaches you that if you look only at yourself, you cannot find yourself. See, that's the secret. That's the secret of the whole deal then. It's in Gary Renard's Love Has Forgotten No One in all his books. That's why we practice thinking of our brother as spirit and light, because then every thought we have gets stored in our unconscious. But if we think of our brother as spirit, then your unconscious finally will think of you as spirit. This all gets easier and easier and easier. So you just say these sentences, even though we don't believe them. I didn't believe them. I just said them. And then it builds on itself. And you think of yourself as holy. And you remember you are a holy son of God. And somewhere in the Course, Jesus says this one statement really solves really kind of all the issues. If we really knew we were a holy son of God, the holiness that we have, like the holy Dalai Lama, that man knows he's holy. He knows he's immortal spirit, light, and he holds the light for all, not just his people, his faith, but everyone, of course. So, yay, that's what we are to be, a light bearers, channels of light. You sweet faces there, look at you guys. So I just keep picking up our favorite sentences. Here's some more of our favorite sentences in chapter 21. I'm responsible for what I see. I choose the feelings I experience, and I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for. Now, that's a pretty hard nut to swallow, isn't it? And receive as I've asked. Deceive yourself no longer that you are helpless in the face of what is done to you. Acknowledge that you have been mistaken, and all effects of your mistakes will disappear. It's impossible the Son of God be merely driven by events outside of him, because see, our minds are the cause. it seems to be the other way around, that the world is the cause and makes me feel a certain way. Then I'm just having an effect, a feeling. But no, our mind is the cause. We're thinking the thoughts. And as we think them, and the unconscious collective ego is projecting all this separation. And these thoughts that are going on in your mind aren't your real thoughts. Somewhere in the Course, Jesus talks about, if as we let go of these thoughts of judgment, then Holy Spirit can write on that void or emptiness what the truth is. And the truth is that you're holy, of course, immortal spirit. So the thing is the forgiveness, practicing true forgiveness as what shows up in front of our face and what images come in our mind. Easier said than done. We just keep practicing, right? So 4th of July week was here it was raining here in Florida. So earlier in the day when it wasn't raining, it wasn't even dark, shot off some fireworks. And where my sister lives, they won't let you shoot off fireworks. I didn't know that. So I still got some left over that I will shoot off whenever it quits. Doesn't rain here. It might not be raining here tonight. But the thing is, see, that can celebrate our independence, celebrate our ability to be master over our minds, you guys, called self-mastery. That's what you're wanting to do, master of your mind, instead of the mind running roughshod on us. We made the ego and then forgot we made it, and then thought these thoughts were ours, that we were thinking this stuff. You are not these thoughts. Isn't that wild to think that a thought comes first and makes an image? And then we think, because we think that image looks real, we touch it, it seems firm, it bleeds, but that is an image that is projected, that we all agreed upon, this projection. It's pretty far out deal, isn't it? That the projector is our mind, like the big movie screen, where the projector's at the back of the room and the big screen's in front of us, and the projector is projecting the movie, the film. Well, our mind is that projector. Now, granted, the collective egoic mind is projecting the big picture, but any individual things that are in my immediate face, my immediate family, that's part of my dream script that I made up. And those same people go with us lifetime after lifetime. We just keep switching roles. If we're victimizer this time, we're the victim. I mean, it just keeps, if we're wealthy this time, we're poor. Male this time, we're female. I mean, that's just a weird deal, isn't it? That's what Gary Renard's books say, but try to wake up in this lifetime. But think, 14 billion years, and now we're thinking holy thoughts. You guys are close. Let me tell you, doesn't that give you perspective? Pat yourselves on the back. That's a big deal. I'm not kidding you. It's huge, 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 huge. How many lifetimes is 14 billion years? Damn. Wow. Over and over again, thinking we're a form. We're a victim of the world. And can you imagine the caste system, like in India? Can't get out of one caste, go somewhere. I mean, no equality or slavery or all the crap we've done to each other. Owning, like Jesus says, we hire other people or enslave other people, or I mean, whatever the ego can think of, it's done. Oh, look, there's Julia. Hi, Julia. She's somebody's. Are you in a construction job there, Julia? Okay, everybody. It's about 4 to. Now, who's talking? Oh, Julia. We can barely hear you if you were wanting to say something. Chat. Is there something in chat?
Oh, can you hear me? That's
Barely.
me, Julia.
Yeah.
I'm in a
okay.
barn. See, can you?
Oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah, hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, but you didn't see their horses.
Oh, there's horses. You're in a barn.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in a barn.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
Oh,
like one of my jobs. And I'm gonna go up and clean this cabin up there. But we used to keep a horse here. We had a horse here for many years, and I think when I go in the barn, it messes with my audio.
oh, yeah. Well, we can hear you
So
now. You're outside now. Oh, I see their stalls. I see them.
yeah,
Very good.
yeah, that's
We're glad you
Oslo.
can
He's a
be here.
fjord. Me too.
Well, let's practice forgiveness then. If no one has a question again on more people in the group, we can't do enough of this. Practicing true forgiveness on 3 or 4 people in the group. You are spirit, whole, pure, and innocent. All is forgiven and released. Holy Son of God, Troy. Holy Son of God, Lynn. Holy Son of God, Tina. Holy Son of God, Julia. Holy Son of God, Sally. Holy Son of God, Dee. Holy Son of God, Debbie. Holy Son of God, Teresa. Holy Son of God, Brian. And remember, our new mantra is stay in the car. So when you start thinking about somebody else, we can say to each other, you just got in somebody else's car. I mean, it's a way to think about, are you staying in your own mind, right? Am I back in my mind? Stay in my own mind. Stay in the car. Kate Greaves, Grieves, how to have a happy day every day. If there's anything else, anyone else got a comment? Okay, you cuties. Well, then we'll call it a day here. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I much appreciate it. I love seeing all your beautiful faces.
Bye.
Bye, you guys. I love you all.
I love you
Bye.
all.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you,
Bye, sweeties.
Glenda.
Bye, Brian.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Boston
everyone.
Red
Take care.
Sox are in the league out in the top of the league out there.
They are.
Oh.
Bye. See you later, you guys.
See you later.
Blessings, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.